Let's talk about the head triad, starting with the number 5. 5s are wise, you are curious, researchers, thinkers, and you are self-reliant. 5s can be really good at standing back and observing situations versus participating in them. 5s remember everything. You have controlled emotion. One thing I admire about you is that you don't use your emotion to manipulate others or situations. 5s are students for life. You are always learning and growing. And once you've mastered something and become a specialist, you move on to the next thing. 5s are not flaky. You're very reliable. If you know a 5, try not to ask them if they're okay over and over, because guess what? If they're not okay, they'll let us know. 5s also typically aren't that big of a fan of hugging, so let's give them some space. If you are a 5, I want to make sure that you have a safe person or someone that you can rely on. And remember, not all sound wisdom is found in your head. It can also be found in relationships. And don't forget to ask God what He thinks about situations or things that you are needing help in, because guess what? He is beyond all the head knowledge that you have. Let's talk about our 6s. 6s are loyal, you are faithful, you are thoughtful, and you're always prepared. If you are a 6, I want to challenge you to not fixate on what can go wrong. Instead, shift that perspective by asking God what can go right. Also, be present. Don't get so fixated on the past by getting caught up in the shoulda, woulda, couldas. Be present and look ahead and be confident in the things that God has equipped you with. If you're in a relationship with a 6, be careful with the words that you use, such as don't say things like, "You're being ridiculous," or "You're worrying too much," or "Why do you always do this?" Instead, let's speak life, because ultimately 6s, they are looking and seeking for security. That is their foundation. So let's help them by speaking those things into them. If you are a 6, I want to encourage you today to be as loyal to yourself as you are with others, to look at yourself the way that God looks at you. Because remember that God is for you, He is not against you. Let's talk about 7s. 7s are adventurous, you are joy-filled, you are fun and enthusiastic. If I could tell you one thing today, is to not be afraid to feel all the things, to dig deep, because we know that 7s have a depth that is so deep in so many details that we don't even see. So don't be afraid, 7s, if you are going through a hard time right now, to stick in that season, to stay in the pain, because otherwise you'll miss those opportunities for growth or the lessons that God's teaching you. So if you can't feel it, you can't heal it. Don't forget those things. 7s also have a fear sometimes of being trapped or feeling suffocated. I know that life isn't always fun. So the things that God's given you, the responsibilities in your life, whether it be your marriage or your career or your family, to stick with those responsibilities and to stay in it. If you are in a relationship with a 7, one thing that we can all do is learn to be a little more adventurous or to have fun. So yes, it's champion them on those days where they just want to go on an adventure. Let's do it, because why not? But also help them be accountable to their dreams that they have or the things that they've started to finish them. And don't forget, 7s, that God knows you, that He loves you, and that He will show up for you on the good days and the bad days. So don't be afraid to lean on Him.